Welcome to the next topic. In this topic, we are going to learn the difference between the DBMS and file-based systems. We have already learned that DBMS is a software and which is used to manage the databases. That is, by using DBMS, we are going to manage the databases. That here we have the databases, and these databases are managed by user by the DBMS. That is, the data is going to be stored in the databases, and these databases are managed by the user by using the DBMS software. Whereas in the file based system, the data is stored in the files. So the data is stored in the files, and here we have to use different programming languages like C, C++, or COBOL. We have to use these programming languages to manage the files. That is, the data is going to be stored in the files, and we have to write either C or C++ or COBOL program for handling the data in the files. Whereas in the DBMS, the data is stored in the databases, and we have already a pre-constructed software DBMS, which by using we can easily store and manage and retrieve the data from the databases. But whereas the complete complexity lies with the user, here by using the files, we have to design the program here, and he have to write the program for handling the data of a particular files. And here the data is going to be stored in the different files like file 1, file 2, file 3. We can have many files in the file based systems, right? So here, and each file is called as a flat file, and each file is called a flat file, and each file is independent of one another. It is independent of one another. Whereas when we compare the databases, in the databases, data is stored in logically related tables. Logically related tables. Here, the data is not replicated, that is not repeated. Whereas here, if we take here, the data is, there can be a situation where the file 1 contents and file 2 contents are mostly same. There will be minor differences. So it will be the problem of the file based system. There will be a data redundancy problem. That is, we can have the same data replicated in multiple files. For example, if we take example of an organization, if we have a file for handling the employee details, and we have another file for handling the employee insurance details, and if we have another file for handling the department details, here if we take here the same employee detail, employee number or name can be replicated in this file, and they can also be in this file, and they can also have the same details in this file. So that is, same data can be replicated in multiple files, and this is called as data redundancy. Data redundancy. So it is the problem of the file based system. That is, same data can be replicated. What will be the problem in this situation? If you want to update any details, we have to update in the file 1, we have to update in the file 2, and also we have to update in the file 3. So, and also for everything we have to design our program, we have to change our program for those updations. So the complete complexity lies with our program. Whereas in the DBMS, the complexity have been removed by our software, by our available software, by the DBMS. And this data redundancy also leads to another problem called data consistency problem, data inconsistency problem. So what is data inconsistency? Suppose here in the employee details, if we have a employee by number 0203, and suppose if his address have been given as a Hyderabad, suppose we need to update this detail, that is from Hyderabad. If I want to change this to something Nizamabad, so here I have to update this in this employee details. And if I update in this file, and if I forgot to update in this file, then the same number with this employee ID here in this file, it will shown up with that city as the Hyderabad. So I should not, it rise with me, that is I should not forget to update. While updating the file 1, I have to do update in the file 2 also. That is the complete complexity rise with the user because of the data redundancy problem. And this is called as data inconsistency. Let us understand the difference between the file system and DBMS through a tabular format. So in the file systems, we are going to have the inconsistent file formats. That is, every file can be of different formats. Whereas in the DBMS, the data is stored in the table, and everything is going to be in some format. So it's a standard query format. And here the problem with the file system is the duplication of the data. Whereas here in the DBMS, we doesn't have the data duplication problem. And another difference is, in the file system there can be situation of inconsistent data, whereas in the DBMS we are going to have a consistent data. That is, we have already discussed in our previous example, while the address changed in one file is not changing in the other file, it is the problem of the file system, but it is not the problem of the DBMS. And also in the file system we cannot have integrity constraints. Suppose for an employee the age should be greater than 19. It is an integrity constraint we can keep to our company, but it cannot be represented in the file system. This such type of integrity constraint cannot be represented in the file system, but they can be easily represented in the DBMS. And file systems are suitable for the small systems, whereas the DBMS is suitable for the large system. File systems are very cheap, and DBMS is the used for the is most expensive. And this file system are easy to break. They have a very simple structure, whereas the DBMS is very complex. It has a complex structure, and its file system, it requires very low designing, whereas the DBMS designing is most important, and designing is very complex. And file systems are not secure, whereas DBMS is more secure. File systems are used for the single user, but the DBMS use it for multiple user. That is, it is shareable. It is the most biggest advantage of the database.